I'm starting. It's already started. It's begun.
Okay. What?
We're doing it.
Already?
We're live. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 294 of Opinions May Vary. I'm your host, Jared. My co-host, Alex.
Hello.
And it's just us. It is a Saturday. Can you believe it? I haven't seen you on a Saturday in
at least
6 weeks.
6 or 7 weeks.
Ish.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. It's daytime? Midday? What is this?
I have time right
This doesn't exist. But it's because it's November now.
Mm-hmm.
And the spookiness has come to an end, and it's time to get back to I don't know where I'm going with this. I had it's just us this week, and I was at work the other day, and I was in the men's room doing my business.
Okay.
Just the one, not the sitting.
I like where this is going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about this one thing that I like.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, not many people like that as much as I do. Why do I like that?
Okay.
And it's just one of those. It got me thinking about nostalgia. And I know we've talked about nostalgia a lot.
Not as much as some other people.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. But I think we had an episode titled Nostalgia. I think.
It was a while ago, though.
But I wanted to, and I was like, why is that nostalgia to me? Why am I so into that? And I started thinking about, the term blind allegiance came into my head. I'm searching for nostalgia on our website right now. But, and I was like, those things that you're so into. And I was talking about it also earlier this week with Joe and Colin, because I brought up the topic to them and the thing that had popped into my head. And Joe and I have a bond with this thing. I'm going to get into it in a minute, but
okay.
And he gets it, 100%. He was like, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
He knows where I'm coming from, at least with that one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure we all have those types of things, like the blind allegiance to this one thing because maybe at some point, when I was when you were a kid or younger, earlier in your life, you really dug this.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter, other people's opinions, So
Mm-hmm.
the thing that got me on it.
A friend of ours had posted a question like this to his Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
and I started skimming, expecting not to see mine on there.
Right.
But then I saw two other people also say it. Because, it's just kind of known as that thing that no one else likes, and everyone makes fun of it. But I'll stand by it, because I'm a fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I found two like-minded people, and it was kind of shocking.
Is it almost disappointing?
That there are other
right?
No.
It's my thing.
In this case, it was nice finding some people of the same headspace as me.
Mm-hmm.
For once, it was interesting. Yeah.
The thing that got me, and it's not even very climactic, that's what's gonna get us going. But the thing that was in my head that prompted this was the 1990s blockbuster Airheads.
Okay.
with heartthrobs Brendan Fraser,
Yeah.
a very very not unknown, but very young Adam Sandler.
You probably got him cheap for that movie.
Yeah, I think he was probably still SNL at that time.
Yeah,
I don't know that for a fact, but if not, he maybe had just gotten, I don't know. And also a one Steve Buscemi.
Mm-hmm.
Also with minor roles, Chris Farley,
Mm-hmm.
who plays Kramer in Seinfeld, Michael Richards, and Michael McKean.
Who's the guy?
Who's who cast?
Who's the agent?
Oh, that's Judd Nelson.
All I remember him as was the punk dude from
Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club.
Yep.
I was like, that's what's happened to him.
Yeah, and then Judd Nelson played the record exec.
Yeah.
And it's one of those movies that was on TV a lot, and it was, I didn't really get it as it's a stupid movie.
Yeah.
Three guys who just want to get their mixtape heard, break into a radio studio and hold them up with squirt guns full of hot sauce. And it's stupid. It has no business being in my mind like
Uh-huh.
as good as I think it is, but it's one of those movies that will almost. We talked about this years ago, but it's one of those movies that's very close to being a day ender. Like,
Okay.
yo, Airheads is on. Guess I'm watching Airheads.
I could skip Airheads.
That's fair.
Like,
That's fair.
If
A lot of people can skip Airheads.
if people didn't recall what our day ender was, it's you just happen to be like doing some chores, you're doing laundry or whatever, or like you're pausing for lunch, you're gonna throw the TV on for a sec, or like check into what your significant other roommate's doing, and like if this movie happens to be on, you're gonna stop everything you're doing and just watch the movie. It's just what happens. It's not conscious effort, but you just realize like, oh, the movie's over and I was supposed to mow the lawn today, or I was supposed to go to work today.
Yep.
None of this has happened. And so in the past episode I said mine was The Prestige.
Right.
I believe Goodfellas also got nominated.
Goodfellas is a huge one. And then I think the biggest one I think that would probably cover most people would be Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, okay.
That would just I've seen that movie.
It depends what channel, because it might just rerun in 2
Right,
hours.
exactly. with the notes on the bottom.
Yeah.
The trivia.
So yeah, that was. So for me, I feel like I'd have to like think about what the rest of my day would be like.
I could probably walk away from this.
Like, do I have anything going on in the next something time? And then like even if I do like dedicate a few more minutes than I have, I could still take a break and get up and go away from it, and turn it off. But I'd definitely like be kind of disappointed.
Part of me, right? Oh, I'm not watching Airheads. Part of me wants to like dive into it and say, it's a movie about chasing your dreams and anything's possible. Like you just gotta want it enough. And I'm also like, he's also kind of a scumbag. He just rides around on his Harley while his girlfriend's out at work. Like, and
Well, there's a lot of respect who you are.
right.
When
Yep.
towards the end, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen Airheads.
Yeah, spoilers for Airheads, by the way, coming up.
Towards the end, when he's like, and he's just like admitting all this stuff, and
Right.
he wasn't always a cool metalhead. He's like, I used to play D&D, and the whole crowd is like, I played D&D too, man. I used to masturbate constantly.
And then Lemmy Kilmister, I was editor of the school magazine. That was Lemmy. But his name's Chester
Yeah,
instead of Chaz.
yeah.
The metalhead Brendan Fraser.
I feel like it's almost not a guilty pleasure, because for pretty much any crowd you'd be in, if you start quoting it, you'll get people joining in.
Yeah, you get like the classic who would win in a fight joke.
Yeah.
Lemmy or God, who to
Right.
determine if they're a cop or not.
Oh my god! One time I worked with a dude. I nicknamed him Arseface before I knew Arseface was a character from Preacher, because he just said all the stupidest stuff. Like it was just a diarrhea of just nonsense shit coming out of his face. So I called him Arseface.
Right.
And so I said that to him one time. I said the Airheads bit, like who win in a fight, Lemmy or God? And he didn't even know who I was talking about. He thought I meant Lenny Kravitz.
Oh God.
Yep, that's what I was working with at the time. He didn't last very long.
That's fair. 1994 was Airheads. IMDb has a rating of 6.1 out of 10, Metascore of 46, which is just it's sad to me. It's sad, but it's also I get it.
I feel like Rotten Tomatoes can't like have an accurate ranking system.
I want to get into that
Like, what's the fan rank on that? Isn't that different from like what the critics rank it?
on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's the critic ranking, which is like determines its freshness. This is all what
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
I just spelled rotten written.
Because I looked up ratings on Rotten Tomatoes one time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what came back like a 10 out of 10?
What?
Big Money Hustlers.
What the fuck?
That's the Insane Clown Posse movie. So that means that like everyone who went to rank it and vote on it were like all juggalos and fans of the ICP with no one to say otherwise, and they just like would overflow any negative reviews.
Well, I mean, Airheads is on Rotten Tomatoes
Okay.
with a tomato meter rating of 21%, which is higher than The Dark Tower that just came out a couple months ago.
But isn't that still really low?
Yes, that's
It's
extreme.
super
It's
low.
out of
That's-
100.
Yeah. Oh my god.
See what I mean?
That's criminal.
It has 7 fresh ratings and 27 rotten ratings. And the average user rating of like audience is 2.9 out of 5, which is a little
Yeah,
higher.
that's-
But it's not a universally liked movie. Which is a bummer because I think Airheads is fun. It's a fun movie, and
Did they not see the scene where Chris Farley rips a guy's nipple piercing out?
he improvises. Just brutal. And I did want to. This is going to lead into another thing really quick, and then we can get into some of yours, and we'll branch out from movies. It goes into like how ratings affect one's opinion of a movie,
Okay.
whether they even had an opinion or not. And I'm gonna get deep here. So. Long time ago, a long time ago, as in maybe 10, 12 years ago. I should have had this movie pulled up before I started this story. But there was I'm a big fan of Gone in 60 Seconds,
Okay.
the Nicolas Cage one from the year 2000. So like
Having known who Angelina Jolie was, I didn't recognize her. At
exactly,
first.
yeah, with the dreads,
At the time of,
Sway or whatever her name was in the movie. Yeah, Sway. So, Gone in 60 Seconds, me and all my friends, Joe and all my high school friends, we all universally thought this movie was dope. It came out in 2000, so it was like right when we were in high school. Like we either couldn't drive yet or were just starting to drive. Mm-hmm. Cars were like a thing that was just seemed unreachable to us. We're always going to drive, so that it has the Mustang and it has Chi McBride and what is the soccer player's name? Who is he was the silent one, Vinnie Jones.
Yeah.
Like it had all these different people in it: Robert Duvall, Will Patton, Angelina Jolie, Giovanni Ribisi. Like, and it's just a fun movie because like they're stealing cars, they're stealing really fast cars, and oh my god, is in the Mustang at the end. Like spoilers for Gone in 60 Seconds. He's in the Mustang at the end. It's a beautiful car, like brothers love and all that stuff. Loved Gone in 60 Seconds. And everyone around me loved Gone in 60 Seconds. It was a fun movie. We all thought it was great. Mm-hmm. And I remember one time, years later, back when like digital cable started coming into play, I was sitting watching TV and I saw Gone in 60 Seconds on. And this is when you could pull up the guide.
Yeah.
This is all new to me. Like it seems so obviously common now, but at the time it was very new to me. Like my family had just gotten digital cable, and like you could see the guide. You can go to the review, like the premise of the movie. It'll tell you when it was made and all that stuff, and it normally would give you like a rating. Mm-hmm. It would tell you how many stars it was rated.
Okay.
And I remember seeing that Gone in 60 Seconds was rated 1 star, and it completely like I didn't get it. I was like, no, that has to be a mistake. What are you talking about? Gone in 60 Seconds is fantastic. Me and every single one of my friends agrees that movie is great. How could you not like that movie? And like, I didn't know that it was a movie at the time because I didn't hunt ratings. I don't think Rotten Tomatoes existed at this point. Or if it did, I didn't know it existed. I didn't give a shit about ratings at that point. It was, I watched this movie and I liked it. I formed my own opinion on it. And my friends had a similar opinion, so obviously that must be the only opinion. I didn't know, like, IMDb, 6.5 out of 10. Metascore on Metacritic, 35.
Well, I mean, yeah.
It legitimately, like, was shocking to me. On Rotten Tomatoes, 24%. But it does have an audience score of 77%. So 77% of people liked it. But critics, 33 fresh, 102 rotten. Average rating is 4.4 out of 10. Like, it's a panned movie. And it legitimately, it was shocking. I didn't get it. And it was, I think that was like the start of like when I really started to be like, and it sucks because a review of a movie.
I feel like there's a bunch of people who are saying that about the movie as well.
What do you mean?
I didn't get it.
Oh, right.
Like,
Why are you stealing cars?
They have to steal so many cars. That's a lot of cars. Why don't
you just steal money?
Why do they have to steal all those cars?
But, and then it goes deeper. Like, a lot of people give Rotten Tomatoes shit because saying that they're paid off to say movies are good or movies are bad and all that stuff. And it really influences, like, I really wanted to see The Dark Tower.
Yeah.
And then I heard The Dark Tower was bad from other, like, people who I've never met before or never will meet. And because of that, I didn't see it.
You let that affect your opinion?
100%. If I hear a movie's bad, yeah, I'll fess up to that. Like, it sucks.
I've gotten to a point in my old cantankerous age that I don't have as much time to invest in movies anymore. Because like, oh, it'll just come out on DVD at some point, and it'll be up on Netflix eventually, and I'll get to it. Unfortunately, it's things like that where, like, I also misestimate how long something's going to be in a theater, and like the act of going to the movies, because I don't want to go with other people there. I just want to go like in the morning when there's no one there.
You're a loner with movies.
I am so much. Yeah, it's what is that? What's that called? I guess I'm just grumpy. I think I'm just a grumpy Gus.
Some people enjoy movies in other ways. Some people enjoy
because like
talking with friends.
I want to enjoy the movie. I paid my money and I bought my popcorn,
a lot of money,
so I could sit there in silent. Well, that's why I go on, on specific days.
Right.
It's like only
cheap
$6.
day.
Yeah, and like I just want to sit there and look at the thing that I bought. I bought the time to watch this thing, and like I don't want it interrupted. I don't want my friends talking to me.
You want to riff track it?
I don't want to riff. No, I don't want any of that because that's not what I bought today. Like, we could talk about it afterwards. But I'm sitting. I rented this seat so I could look at the screen. Like, I'm sorry, friend, but like we can hang out any other time. You wanna tell me what you think of this actor? Yeah, you could wait when we have lunch, or would I just not right now?
Wait an hour when this is done.
Yep. It's like there's some people that I can see movies with. Then there's other people that it'll never happen again. Or I'll be really grumpy and grudgy about it. But I also don't always need like the instant gratification of like, oh, I saw it, on its second weekend, or I saw it within its first, however long it run. It's like, no, I can wait. I mean, unfortunately, I've been left in the dust in a lot of things. Like, I wish I saw Arrival, and I wish I saw Ex Machina. What?
Baby Driver.
Babies can't drive. How many times?
Have you seen Ex Machina yet? Ex Machina.
No, I can. You know what? Now that I have a weekend,
right?
Now that
you
I
own it, right?
Yeah,
Didn't
I bought it for like out of a Necessary Evil store. I got you.
I don't want to name. I feel you.
I'll trust some of my friends' reviews and like what their thoughts on it were, if they say it was bad or if they say it was good. But it's like, you spend your life making friends and analyzing their opinions and getting to know them, and that'll tell you if you can have the same like likenesses. So if they say a movie's good, you'll be like, oh, good, I don't have to watch it now. If they say a movie's bad, you're like, oh, I'm definitely seeing this.
Right.
When I have a friend who goes, damn, yo, the new Transformers was bomb, in a good way, because that's how they talk. And I go, oh, great, I'm not watching Transformers. And then I go, did you steal it? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, good. Good. Steal the worst movies, but pay money for good movies. Yo, go ahead and download Catwoman.
We're not
and
condoning
Transformers and stuff.
theft, by the way.
And I was
you
like,
see the basketball scene in Catwoman?
When something like Hellboy comes out, you pay money for that, all right? And he was like, I feel you. I'm like, oh, whatever.
Just watching the new Stranger Things season has me so pumped for the new Hellboy. Just because I love David Harbour.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, reviews. I don't know. If I really want to see something, I'll see it no matter what.
I really value my friends' opinions.
Yeah.
And I will be the first to admit that I let them influence me too much. I could have, and it's shitty, and it's a character trait in myself, in that I will have a mild opinion of something.
Yeah.
But then the second someone comes up with a more convincing opinion, it doesn't take a lot to flip me.
Okay.
Which one could say, oh, well, that just means you're open-minded.
Is there-
But I'm also like, well, I didn't have a strong opinion in the first place, so
We're getting kind of off track.
it's true.
But I want to keep going with it, though. Are you ever expected to be eager to like something or to want to watch something because it's in your wheelhouse or in your genre or whatever? Like our friend Colin,
Right.
frequent guest of the show, wasn't everyone being like, yo, Dark Tower? Because they just know he's a fan of the Dark Tower, right?
Including me. I was like, yo, did you see the Dark Tower trailer? It's just...
But like, now that you're hammering that into somebody, isn't there going to be disappointment when it's like, if it's not great?
I mean, I get that at work myself because people know that I'm into like comic books and stuff. They're like, yo, like this Thor's not even out yet, and they're asking me if I've seen Thor. And
it's been out for 30 hours.
Yeah, exactly. You see the new Thor? No, I did not. I did not see Thor.
I was washing my pets. I kind of have a life.
But even then, the last movie, like I saw it with Colin on opening day. And did we see Baby Driver on opening day? I can't remember. But like, I'm not a big the only reason that I rush to see movies is to avoid spoilers.
Okay.
I had Force Awakens spoiled for me, which sucked.
I had a friend who was already unfriended people that talk about Thor too much.
Yeah, seriously. Like, it sucked really bad. I was on Twitch watching a stream, and someone said something in the chat regarding Force Awakens, and I was like, that sounds plausible. God damn it.
Wait.
And then,
well, that's what you get for reading the chat on Twitch.
like, I just happened to glance. Normally I don't. Like, I would normally will try and stay far away from chat. But there are a couple rooms like
let me go look in places where I know some of the worst trolls on the planet are going to hang out on a regular basis.
But it sucks. So like I dove to the theaters to see like Rogue One and stuff like that just to avoid spoilers because I don't want to have it ruined for me. But anyways, instead, I've already said 2. Let's hear some of yours.
Okay, so the one I mentioned earlier, the story I was talking about, Hudson Hawk.
Yo, that movie is hilarious. I've only seen it in parts, like on Comedy Central.
Yeah.
But I was like, what is this?
So many people think it's terrible or think it's bad or it's the worst. And yet, like, it's easily one of my favorites, specifically for that nostalgia, moment. Blind Allegiance, and because I'll stand by it. There's so much crazy stuff going on, and even like to scale, it's not as crazy as like movies today are. But like it's came out in 91.
Jesus.
And like I don't know, has Bruce Willis always just been Bruce Willis-y?
Pretty much.
Or has he hasn't really changed or evolved? I mean, he's pretty much been the same guy. He'll get different roles and like act slightly different, but you still know who Bruce Willis is. Like currently, like Jim Carrey has gotten kind of out there,
right?
And there's different levels to his career and what he's been and what he's acted as. But like not Bruce Willis.
17 score on Metacritic. It's not on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, it is.
I couldn't find it.
I wrote it up. Did you spell Hudson wrong?
HUDSO. Oh, now it shows up. It said no results.
Took a second.
I left and came. Yeah, 26%.
26. Yeah. Audience score is 56%.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's a thief. Him and his pal like have to sing to time their heist jobs correctly. Was that Danny Aiello? Yeah. Who's like an older guy, but like just like that camaraderie really got me because it's fun. You get to have like this little musical montage while they're breaking into museums and shit. It's great. And then like the rest of the characters, like the gang of bad guys who are named after candy bars.
Kit Kat, Butterfinger, Almond Joy, Snickers. I'm seeing that right now on IMDb.
It was great. And it was a lot of fun. And like there was some history involved with it and some really wacky, crazy people. And there was a person who might have been a nun, but she was actually an agent. And it was a lot of craziness going on. But even with that, like, there were still like clever undertones. It wasn't very stupid. It might have been a little stupid, but that's what I liked about it.
I mean, the plot line: a cat burglar is forced to steal Da Vinci works of art for a world domination plot.
Yeah,
doesn't it deal with like alchemy, like gold and
yeah,
stuff?
Yeah. Yep. Then he sabotages it. Spoilers.
What? Hudson Hawk spoilers.
If you haven't seen this movie,
It's almost 30 years old. Oh, now I'm sad.
I was a big fan of this. I still am a big fan of that movie. But that's definitely one of the ones where it's like, even like Bruce Willis will like make jokes about how bad it is himself, like when he accepted his Blockbuster Video Award.
Right.
he mentioned
Blockbuster Entertainment Award.
he mentioned Hudson Hawk. But that's one. Another one, my other one, which I think is
Hudson Hawk was the one that the two other people had agreed with?
yes.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. And like we would have shook hands if we were in person. It was that kind of thing. The other one is Krull,
Okay.
which was like a sword and sorcery fantasy movie.
Dragon Slayer.
It kind of came out in '83.
Jesus.
I didn't realize it was that old. I was 2 at the time.
I wasn't. I wasn't at all. I wasn't anything.
But I would still like see it on TV as time went on. And there was a lot of like cool, like weird fantasy elements to it, but it never had like a sequel. It's probably not going to get a reboot. I don't know. It might. It's one of those things where like you could eventually going to run out of ideas and go, yeah, we'll just make this again.
Someone will remake Krull.
It'll they'll get there. But he had the glaive was his spinning frisbee-esque weapon with sword knives on it, and there was a giant cyclops, and there was Clydesdales that could run through the sky because they were so fast. There was a lot of elements going on.
All of that sounds great to me.
Doesn't it? There was like shape-changing evil entities that could look like your friends, and when you stab them, they die and like shrivel into a worm and bury into the ground.
Wow.
It was weird. Yeah. But
So Krull.
if I said Conan's one of my favorite movies, then everyone goes, yeah, Conan.
Yeah, Conan.
Yeah, of course.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
You know, crush your enemies. Everyone knows a lot. Crush your enemies line. See them German before you. I'm not too keen on the third one. Don't need it really, to be honest.
Yeah, we don't need to.
We could pass.
Yep.
Well, some of my friends agree. Some like have never looked up what Lamentations of the Wind mean,
Yeah.
and educate yourself a little bit.
Yep, we don't need to do that. We're in a progressive age.
Yeah. But like, no one's gonna disagree. Like, oh, Conan's a terrible movie. It's a bad movie. It's, you know, but when you go Krull and they go, the glaive. The bad guy's a giant head that he drops rocks on. Ooh. And you just kind of got to, well, you know, it's okay that you think it's bad because a lot of people agree with you. That happens to be on Rotten Tomato, 33% for the tomato meter.
Mm-hmm.
Audience score, 51%.
So, you know, 1 out of every 2 people will say Krull's good.
yeah. About
That's fair.
those who've heard of it and watched it. Yeah. So that's my 2 movies.
I guess I have one other movie, and it doesn't really count. I think I just love it, and it was something that I was raised on.
You know what it was?
What?
When you were a kid, you could play Krull. Of like, you know, not that you'd ever actually attack your friends with sticks or baseball bats, but
Right.
like you can pretend you have
I'm Krull.
you have a floating frisbee knife death thing that you'd fly around the trees in your yard. Yeah. That's something kids would do.
I used to play Mortal Kombat with my friends,
Yeah.
and we'd play Test Your Might on my picnic table. We'd pretend we smashed it.
All right, I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
There's a movie, and I've talked about it in the past on the show, because it's an old Jim Henson movie called The Christmas Toy, which it's super short. I don't even think it's an hour and a half long. It's bad. It's very generic, but it's like, you know, it's all puppets and stuff like that. Not the typical Muppets that you're used to. The only one that shows up, if you have the right version, if you have the old version, Kermit shows up in the beginning.
Okay.
But the DVD version that we have, it cuts out that whole part, which kind of sucks. But it's a movie, and I rip on it because it's Toy Story before Toy Story. There's a toy, and his name is Rugby Tiger. He's a stuffed tiger, and he's a favorite toy. And it's Christmas Eve, and he gets nervous because the new toys are going to come,
Right.
and it's going to be bad because he replaced Apple, who was an old, like, just a generic, like, girl doll,
Okay.
who used to be the favorite toy. And he's no, I'm gonna still be the favorite toy. So we decide he wants to go down to the Christmas tree,
Yeah.
wrap himself up.
Okay.
So then he gets unwrapped again. Oh my God, I'm the favorite toy again.
Yay.
Can you believe? Like, not that he ever wasn't, but and so, but like, if a toy gets seen out of place, they
Right.
freeze and die. It's
Yeah.
pretty morbid, pretty awful. But like that was a movie that I was raised on.
Wait, would they not get back up again?
Exactly.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
There's a terrifying scene with Ditz the clown. There's a little clown named Ditz.
Okay.
And he goes out to go try and find Rugby after Rugby leaves, and
Yeah.
he gets seen, and he just crumbles into a heap. And they literally just throw him into a pile with other toys who have been caught. Like, it's pretty, and it's just like, well, those are the dead ones.
Okay.
Those,
So in Toy Story, like they yell freeze or Andy's coming or whatever, and like, they assume like they lay on the ground or whatever.
they just fall, yeah.
But then once Andy leaves, they get back up and everything's fine.
Yeah. I mean, Woody even talks to Sid in the first one.
Oh, I didn't. Did he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He tells him to play nice.
Yeah.
Like, so it's not like it's their responsibility to be a toy, I guess.
Right, yeah.
But in the Christmas toy, if they get seen out of place, they die.
Oh, shit.
And it's pretty great.
Also terrifying.
Exactly, because then they go down the Christmas tree and blah, 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 and all that stuff happens. And it's very similar to Toy Story. And, Rugby Tiger doesn't want to be replaced. But I was raised on this movie.
Okay.
Raised on it. We watched it every single year. To this day, on Christmas Eve, when we go to my brother's house, we watch the Christmas toy. Because it also turns out in a freak, like, just pure happenstance, my wife was also raised on this movie.
No shit.
Mm-hmm. She's the only person who I've ever been able to be like, yo, the Christmas toy?
I've
And
never
she
heard
says,
of this,
yeah,
by the way.
no one knows of it. No one knows the Christmas toy. And it turns out,
Were you shocked when you found out?
I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it at all. I mean, it makes sense because my wife loves the Muppets and Jim Henson and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But no one knows what the Christmas toy is. But we watch it every year on Christmas Eve, and we riff track it. Like, we call Ditz a fucking idiot. Ditz, you moron. Like, I can't believe,
It's
but-
nice having friends like this.
Yeah.
Because if I went to hang out with other people and there was like, yo, Muppets and everything, and Jimmy Hinton, they'd be like, I'm sorry, we're watching football instead. Like, I don't.
No, we're watching the Christmas toy.
And I spent a really late New Year's with some friends one year, and like they have a party every year, and there was like 5 of us still hanging out, and one of them had just received as a gift the Fraggle Rock box set. And so like after most people leave and it's New Year's and like, but it's like 2 a.m, what do? We start watching Fraggle Rock.
See, Fraggle Rock didn't do it for me, which kind of sucked.
No.
Yeah.
At my age, I was watching it before I went to school.
Right.
That was my morning
Yep.
show before school. Yeah. Because I think that was on HBO or something. Because I didn't have any commercials.
I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea.
Anyway.
But yeah, Christmas toy, and it's not necessarily like everyone hates it. It's not like a panned movie.
It's just
I
not
honestly,
heard of.
I don't know even like what it's reviewed at. I've never really even checked because I don't care.
Right.
I do not care.
So this one doesn't matter.
Yeah, because that's what I'm getting at. Like the stuff that like you could tell people come into Airhead's the worst movie ever made. I don't give a shit. The movie's dope.
Right.
Same thing with like me and Joe. I think Wild Wild West is funny. I think that's a funny I will watch that movie and enjoy it
Yeah.
for the most part. A couple scenes I'll skip by, but like, and I know I am very much in the minority.
I watched it once, and anything after that will be a waste of my time.
That's fair, and I get it. I get it. But yeah, Christmas toy that's a go-to. That will always be something that will be in my cabinet.
Have I ever told you about how I feel my preference changes with age?
No, I don't think so.
So when I was younger, like from kid to teenager, out of all the Back to the Future movies, 2 is my favorite.
Okay.
2 is the best one.
Right.
They're in the future.
Right.
They've got hoverboards.
Yeah, you gotta have power.
It's amazing. It's great. But like now that I'm an adult, 3 is my favorite.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Why?
The Wild West and like
Yeah.
having to make do with what they had back then and like I don't know what it is.
The different explosions to get the train going faster, or whatever it was.
Those
like
were
the-
okay.
Like it was a cool
Because
idea. You know?
by that point, like once I watched them all again, and I was like, all right, so everyone loves Michael J. Fox. That's great. He played like 5 characters in it.
Mm.
Well, Biff Tannen also played like 4 or 5 characters in it too. Like
Yeah, he was
no one gives
Buford.
him any credit.
He was Mad Dog.
Yeah. His Mad Dog is great.
Yeah. Mad Dog was scary.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I was afraid of Biff. Young Biff was just he was a good bully.
Yeah.
And then Mad Dog was just terrifying.
Right. And Doc Brown like goes in the bar and he's like, "Oh, how many has he had?" He's like, "None." He just stands there and holds it. He's never ever drank it. So stuff like that, and like he makes ice, and he has like a amazing steam gun and everything. It's really cool stuff. You know, maybe it's kind of steampunky. Maybe that's
Yeah, I guess.
that might be it.
I mean, how do you make a train go 88 miles an hour?
But also, there's this element of like how to court a woman with his teacher friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It also like the thing that always got me about Back to the Future was like my first foray into like time travel. Obviously time travel, but when like you don't really think about like at the end of the first one,
Yeah.
like when he shows up like right after he gets back with the
Right.
letter,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like, whoa, wait, that means they've had that letter for like X years. What the fuck? But he just it
Yeah.
blows me away. Like that stuff at the because like people call it like time travel gobbledygook. You know,
When it's done well, I really enjoy it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. I think me and Joe just watched like the same movie within the past year that was on Netflix at like independent, small time. No one ever heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
But we just happened to both watch it and we're both like, I really liked it. I like the way they handled it. But
What else? Because I had Christmas Toy.
okay.
What else do we have?
That's it for my movies.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I have for movies. I'm sure if you gave me another 45 minutes, I could come up with 20 more. But you get the idea.
Yeah. Okay. Cartoon.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go through the work of plugging us in,
Okay.
but I'm gonna play its intro. Because honestly, I don't care about anything besides its intro.
Okay.
If you go
Trying to
back,
think of what it could be.
if you watch the actual cartoon, it doesn't stand the test of time.
Okay.
Because like, I had a friend watch one of the DVDs with me, and it was a combination episode, like short movie, and it didn't stand up. I felt kind of embarrassed making my friend watch it.
Right.
with
Right.
me. But nothing's really gonna beat.
From days of long ago, from uncharted regions of the universe, comes a legend. The legend of Voltron, defender of the universe.
Is that Optimus Prime?
It is
Is that Peter Cullen? I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. Peter
I
Cullen.
have never seen Voltron.
Honestly, I could just watch the intro like for an hour straight, just over and over and over again. Just like it builds up the entire like history and like drama, and it sounds so legit and serious. And there's lions that combine to form a bigger robot, and then they fight other giant monsters. And there's the galactic. He would have just said if I let it play for another 30 seconds. But the actual show itself doesn't stand up.
Right.
It's you grow out of it.
It has that nostalgia. Like everyone's like, "Oh my god, Voltron!"
Yeah.
But like they like the idea of Voltron. Do you think like, oh, it's fun to put on a T-shirt because it's old and vintage?
Well, I mean, let's see. What I'm getting at is like Voltron Defender of the Universe. I just had the year.
The entire universe.
1984 and 85.
Jesus.
So 84, 85. I'm talking about like that series. Because like the voice acting, the animation, the storylines, no one's going to really go back to watch that with intent and purpose. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to get through the whole series because it's not great for an adult. And even today's kids might not. They're different now. But like what Voltron is and like the idea of it still sticks around. Where do you think the Power Rangers came from?
Right.
You know? It's like we wouldn't have the Power Rangers if we didn't have Voltron. And even like Voltron's had 2 or 3 reboots. He still has comic books.
Recently,
Yeah.
like he had the cartoon that came out a couple years ago on Netflix, right?
It's still out.
Yeah.
I think they have at least 2 or 3 seasons, if not more, that I missed. And they came out with a season before that. that was a little different. They kind of like did a reboot. They, took a different direction with it. Because one was like Voltron Force, and then they made a new Voltron. So like the idea of what Voltron is has stuck around, but I'm never going to go over that intro.
Right.
And you know what? I don't even care what the current intros are like. It just, because I watched some of the first season, like I got like 5 episodes in. It wasn't bad, but like I'm a bitter old man who doesn't like his time wasted.
Fair.
And I couldn't commit to like watching this series. But, like I just said, for some reason, I would waste plenty of time watching the intro over and over on loop. Just Cullen's voice was so perfect, and it's telling you this galactic space odyssey story. But at the same note, like, remember Toonami? When they would have like their space promo?
Oh yeah.
Yo, the space promo was so deep. They're showing the clips from Gundam and like Outlaw Star or Cowboy Bebop and even like the one shot of Dragon Ball Z because Vegeta's little ball spaceship is flying to Earth and whatnot. It's like that kind of thing gets me. But if I were to say like, oh, anyone else watch Voltron recently, and they're like, the original one? What, are you stupid?
I guarantee you, most people probably have. I've never seen Voltron. I know of Voltron. I know it's a giant robot and it gets put together and then all the people, right?
After we finish, we'll watch the complete intro.
Right. As far as cartoons, I didn't have one like chambered, but as I'm thinking like, and I might be, this might be kind of a cop out or a cheat, but I'm a big fan. And you mentioned the old Toonami. Back when I was in high school, Adult Swim had like just started, with the 11-minute shows.
Yeah.
And Joe and I would hang out sometimes on Sunday nights. I mean, this is when hanging out was, even though we lived a street over from each other, it was like we had to get permission to hang out, And I was a big fan of the short shows, specifically, like Aqua Teen. Everyone loved Aqua Teen. They got the movie and all that shit. And then C-Lab 2021.
Yeah.
And specific Harvey Birdman. I love Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law.
I don't like it because it was never properly scheduled for me to watch it.
It's like, when is it on?
I would have watched it so much, but it never had like a consistent block timed out for it.
Yeah, it's like Harvey Birdman was on like Tuesdays and Thursdays. Like on Tuesdays at 11, but Thursdays at 11:15. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, if I tune in at 11:20, I missed it.
Exactly.
Oh, great.
I love Harvey Birdman, and I have it like all on DVD, and I would watch those DVDs. There was a time.
Can I borrow this one?
Right? Yeah. Honestly, you can, because it's so funny to me. I remember me and my ex-girlfriend, we went down to Tennessee to visit her dad, and we brought Harvey Birdman to show him.
Oh.
And it was one of that like secondhand embarrassment, because you could tell like he was just not fucking feeling it.
Right.
It's not a cartoon for everyone. It's weird.
I get mad sometimes, like when you and John, or possibly Joe, I don't remember, we will start quoting
Me and John would quote it a lot.
and just be like, not there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm angry because like I want to be in on this joke too.
Fucking Stephen Colbert voicing Phil Ken 7, which is a play on Falcon 7. But Harvey Birdman, or Birdman, is now Harvey Birdman. He's an attorney working for Falcon 7, which is now Phil Ken 7 of 7 and 7. Now he's an attorney for them. And like he solves cases, like he's an attorney for like different Hanna-Barbera characters.
Yeah.
It's like Grape Ape and Inch High Private Eye, and like
it is really cool that like Hanna-Barbera had this evolution from what they were originally to like their original cartoons between Space Ghost and Grape Ape and them, and like Hong Kong Phooey and whatever. And
Apache
then
Chief, he was in the first episode.
Really?
Because he spilled hot coffee. I think that was the first episode. It was one of the first episodes, if not the first. He spilled hot coffee in his lap.
Okay.
And he could no longer
get
big, as he put it.
But
so he was suing them.
But then like Space Ghost Coast to Coast started happening, and it was like, what is this? They're using space, like this is what Space Ghost is now, and that's pretty great. He was like this invincible space cop with these wristband blasters. And then they're like, no, we're going to take it in this direction. He's going to be on like, Comedy Central or Cartoon Network
Yep.
and do the show now. And like
Like a talk show.
We have like Kathy Griffin's on the show and like Freddie Prinze Jr.'s on the show. It's like, what is going on?
That was the weirdest show.
Um,
But those shows are great. And again, like, if you went to 10 people and said, hey, what's your opinion of Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law? I'd say maybe 3 of them would know what you're talking about, and maybe 1 of them would say, that's a great show. I'm the one. But in terms of cartoons, Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, and that show helped me get through a dark time. That show helped me get through, I went through a really nasty breakup back when, like, the DVDs were coming out, so I remember I'd just watch the DVDs until, like, 2 in the morning, because that was my routine at that point.
Even MF Doom, the rapper, started having like tracks with Space Ghost and stuff on it.
Just fun.
It was great. I couldn't think of the rapper's name. It was like Danger Mouse? No. He was Doom something. No, I dig it. That's really cool.
What else do you have?
Comic book. I have a comic book.
Yeah.
Not so much like the entirety of it is panned or forgotten about or ignored or made fun of. Just the recent one. Just recently, but that's how comics go sometimes.
Yeah.
Years ago, Marvel they had a sideline called Epic Comics. They had Epic, and it was like stuff they couldn't normally print under Marvel. Or they just they had like a side publisher name. And then in the 2000s, early 2000s, like 2003, they were like, we're going to bring back Epic. We're going to ask for submissions. And people send in their ideas, and then we'll, have them write it or draw part of it, or we'll figure out how to we'll make it. We'll get it made.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what we'll do. And they got so many submissions, it was ridiculous. Like, just like there was like months-long delays in reviewing the submissions just because there was so many. And they basically said, like, we're ending this program. We have enough submissions to last us for the next 10 years. So we're not going to do this anymore. But that's where they say like a couple of things came from, like a mini series called Trouble, but that was by Mark Miller. So it wasn't really an independent, or like unknown somebody, but it was something like kickstart what that line would be. And Trouble was about Aunt May and Pete's mom like having their high school summer fling kind of stuff. And it was kind of cute, but whatever. There was a Crimson Dynamo story about one of the guys that fights Iron Man. But like a kid found this suit and it was really weird. And I started doing research because I wanted to submit to this.
Right.
I had an idea. I was researching things. I wanted to submit this idea. And I was looking up characters in the Marvel Universe handbooks where they run through like all the characters that didn't have to go alphabetical because there's so many. So you're like buying a regular comic book, but it's really just an encyclopedia entry. And I was like, so I'm gonna have this little town, and it's gonna be on the place where the leader blew up the Hulk with a gamma bomb,
right,
to get rid of him. But the town incinerated too, so they're gonna build a town on top of this town, and then there's gonna be a mutant power who like absorbs gamma radiation, and she's gonna live there. But they're gonna put all these villains that live there too. Because we'll just put them here and make the villains like live in this town instead of putting them in jail, because we can rehabilitate them. And like we're gonna like Razor Fist, and he's a guy with no hands, but he has knives for hands. His
for
name
fists,
is,
you mean?
His name is Razor Fist, and he's gonna be a chef. He'll have a cooking show. That's a good idea, and he'll have to rehabilitate and not kill people with his razor hand fists. And we're gonna put Mentalo, and he's gonna like sit on his front porch because he's brain dead now because like he got in too many fights and something happened to his head, but he's gonna like drop psychic farts on people who don't like stop all the way at stop signs or litter or something,
right?
Because that's the most he can do. And Sunder's gonna be there. Sunder's the last remaining alive Morlock because the rest got killed by the Marauders. And he's just super strong guy. And we'll put Boomerang there because Boomerang sucks. What's he good for? and he'll have to do something, and then I'll have some kind of weird tragedy happen where all these bad guys have to like unite to save the orphanage or something like that, and save the hospital. And
Right.
they'll use their powers for good because that's what they've been taught to do. And Shield will be in charge because Shield is always just like dumb lackeys who like, you know, we need someone for Taskmaster to kill and beat up or something. We'll just throw some Shield guys at him. It's like, yo, Shield is supposed to be like the best of the Marines and CIA all combined. Theirs should be amazing, but they're just lackeys that get like, you know, just tossed aside by the
cannon
wrecking
fodder.
crews. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Never did it. By the time I was ready to like actually make a story out of it, they ended the program.
Right.
But I kept looking up some stuff, and then I went to the comic shop one day, and I saw the Thunderbolts. And the Thunderbolts was basically my story of villains being good guys.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I found it, they were already like 60 issues in.
Yep.
Even though I'd never heard it before. And characters that like had come and gone were in my little dossier of characters I wanted in my story. There was a chick who could manipulate clothing and cloth. And she was, I forgot her name. She was Gypsy Moth. Her villain name was Gypsy Moth, and she could do clothes things. She changed it to something else later on. I forgot what it was now. But like I was like, oh, I could find a place for her, but there's her in this story. She was on the team for a while.
Right.
She was actually on the Thunderbolts team. So not everyone, like people will be like, yeah, Thunderbolts, they're cool. They're like the not Suicide Squad of Marvel. So they're kind of respected. And I dug them so much back then, where to this day I'll still support them.
Right.
Which means buying the last series they had, even though the art was terrible. It was the worst art.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was Liefeld-esque art.
Yeah, it was
like
bad.
a Liefeld, like secondary runner-up Liefeld. Don't
Yeah,
remember
it was
the guy's name. Didn't care. Didn't really like the story either because they were crossing too many lines, and it was.
But still, Thunderbolts.
I will buy him because I support the name and I support most of the characters, even if what's happening to him right now doesn't make sense or isn't good or is kind of bad. And I'm like, I want to show that they can earn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give them money so they earn, and maybe I'll get paid back with good story and good art
content later.
in the future. That's blind. If that's not blind allegiance, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yep.
It's not so much nostalgia because I think I was looking this stuff up as a 20-year-old.
Right. Yeah. I mean, still, it's something that
That was 16 years ago.
Yeah.
But if I were to show somebody today's, like, you know, the Thunderbolts that came out last year, they'd be like, why do you like this? Why
Right.
you're a fan of this?
Yep.
And I go, look, just trust me, all right? Let me show you the previous 170 issues. And because there's quality there.
Yep.
Yo, Mark Bagley?
Right.
I'm
Yep. Is that pre or post Ultimate Spider-Man?
Pre. Yeah. Yep. Because he's been drawing Spider-Man so much, and I walk up, because at a couple years ago at New York, and I was like, can I have a Citizen V? Who was like the leader of the Thunderbolts team? And he's like, who?
I'll do Spider-Man.
And I was like, you drew him for 100 issues. I gave him reference, though. But
Good
yeah,
man.
Yeah.
I don't have a comic. I have comics that like I read just because I like them, but I mean, I don't really read anything obscure. Or I read Super Dinosaur for a while, but I wouldn't call that nostalgic. But I do have a video game for my last thing here, and it's a video game that I have always hailed as one of my favorite games. And there's only a couple people that I've met who will be like, yes, I agree with you on that.
Okay.
Because most of the time, and critics agree, it is not the best game. But I've been a big fan of Final Fantasy VIII for years and years and years.
Which one is that?
Final Fantasy VIII
Is that the one that came after the factory-looking one?
came after 7, and that's not even a joke. The big one is 7. People love 7.
Is that the one that had like 4 discs to it or something?
7, yeah, like 7 was with Cloud and Sephiroth.
Okay, so my friend bought that, and he was playing through a lot of it, and I would watch him play. And that, to me, like, as far as most of my history, I knew that to be that's what Final Fantasy was.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Go on.
7 is hailed as like, I mean, everyone says like 6 or 3 or whatever it is like the best one, but 7 is like my generation, you know, everyone loves Cloud and everyone loves Sephiroth. And
Is this also one of those flash questions kind of thing, or like this or that will help me judge who you are as a person if we're gonna be friends?
To most people, if they say they like Final Fantasy VIII, it's like, what the fuck? But
What's your favorite Final Fantasy? Like,
exactly.
Oh, the online one that failed.
Yeah, exactly. But I've been a big fan of 8 because other than Final Fantasy 1, the original for the NES, which I had as a kid, and I had no idea what I was ever doing.
Me neither.
Like I'm just flailing at this thing. I don't know what's happening, and every now and then monsters happen, and the screen changes.
And
I
I
don't
would
get
die.
it. I don't get it. It was the first one that I'd ever played. I remember I rented it from Blockbuster, and we had just gotten we had got a PlayStation 1 for my dad for his birthday because he played Ocarina of Time a lot. So we're like, hey, maybe he's like into adventure games like Tomb Raider and shit like that. Literally never touched it. So it just turned into our PlayStation, and I remember renting Final Fantasy VIII, which is 4 discs,
Okay.
and thinking, like, I booted it up, and the opening cinematic is the main character fighting with like his nemesis throughout the game.
Okay.
And at that point, I didn't know graphics like that could exist in video games.
Right.
Like, it was just a cinematic. The entire game wasn't like that.
Yeah.
But a lot of this, like, I didn't know that, and I thought it was the coolest fucking thing. And their weapons were gun blades. They were swords, but like
Guns that shoot knives?
guns. No, it's
Oh,
it's like a really long sword, but like at the handle would be like a gun, like a revolver.
Right.
And like it could shoot and all that. It was weird. It was just badass.
Uh-huh.
But like a lot of people pan the game because like the main character is very like brooding, silent, like bleh, everything is not everything is shit, but like he's just like the quiet, like awkward type, and I don't. Part of me doesn't understand the criticism just because I love the game so much.
Yeah.
And it was like the first like game, like, oh my god, what is this grand adventure that I'm embarking on? What's happening? I didn't really give a shit about the story. I just wanted to like kill stuff with my gunblade and summon guardians and all that stuff. It was just I like that game a lot. It's one of my favorite games. And I know our friend Ken from local co-op, like, he just forced himself to get through it. He played through it. He beat it just so we could say he did. Okay. So now he has the ability to say, no, that game sucked. Fuck that game, because a lot of people just say it sucks, but they never played it.
Okay.
But like
the internet tells him it sucked.
Yeah.
Right.
He got through it. He beat the game, which another startling admission. I have never beaten the game legitimately.
Oh,
I cheated.
Use your Game Genie or something?
A friend of mine had Game Shark. Because I was the idiot, and I was like, if I level up to level 100, I'll be the most powerful.
Right.
When you level up, the monsters level up. So it's like even,
Okay,
So as you get higher in
Well,
level,
then why
they
level
also
up even?
Yeah, I don't even know, man. But I didn't know how to beat the end of the game, and a friend of mine had Game Shark and gave me all the best shit. So, and I did beat it, but not legitimately.
Oh.
But
what'd you have to do to?
Like, the Game Shark gave me it boosted my stats and it gave me all the best weapons.
Oh, okay.
Which make it pretty easy when you have all that. But like I did beat, like, I really dug it. I like that game a lot, and it doesn't matter how many people tell me it sucks or it's stupid. It's nothing compared to other Final Fantasies. Nope, Final Fantasy VIII is great. Love that game. Still own it. Can't play it because I don't have a PlayStation to play it on, but still own it. All 4 discs. It's just I didn't know video games could do that at that point.
Yeah,
I was just used to GoldenEye.
How many was that? Like your first experience since like the massive RPG like that?
Pretty much.
Okay.
That I can really remember. Like, I played all the Zeldas when I was a kid, but like, a game like Final Fantasy, I think that was the one of the first times. Just love that game. And I know I'm very alone in that.
The first time you can start like altering your stats and leveling up is usually sticks with people, I would imagine.
Yep.
There was a point when I bought Knights of the Old Republic because I heard it was an amazing game, and I was like, oh, I have an Xbox. Like, I'm a little behind right now because the newest thing is the next Xbox, but I have a chance to play these, and like, yeah, I get it. I had this huge, like, amazing, expansive journey. I could have done that with any other video game, but I chose that one. And that was, like, my first example of, like, what a leveling RPG where, like, you travel with the story.
Right.
I could see that. If that was you. If Did you play 7 as well?
Nope.
Okay.
I watched my friend play it once, and I
Okay.
didn't get it. I didn't care. He was like on disc like 2.
Yeah.
What this doesn't mean anything to me. Like I don't, but I've heard all about it, and all that stuff. But I just not really interested. I should probably play it just so I can, Ken manned up and made his way through the entirety of 8, or he says he did, and I probably should play 7. But it's not like I pan 7. I have nothing against it. I'm not interested.
Do you think you'd have the same feelings if you had a different like first game like that?
Maybe.
Like that kind of RPG, with at least that, or a game with that kind of graphics.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I just remember the first time booting it up and just being completely blown away. I was instantly like, and I was also that needy, emotional, like fucking dumbass in middle school.
Do you remember
like wearing black and painting my fingernails and shit.
You did that?
So like, yeah, I did. I painted my fingernails black. Not every now and then, but like, yeah, I did.
Okay.
Totally did. But to see like the main character like was also like the quiet type and I'm feeling feelings.
Remember when KT was on and we started talking about anime? And at one point, I think she asked, what was like one of your first exposures to anime? Was it Ghost in the Shell or Akira? Because some people had liked one, didn't like the other, and vice versa. And she's like, depending on which one you exposed to first would decide like what your taste was for the future. And that's all I have for that. But like I felt that kind of like that theory could explain a lot of things.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I guess it shaped. And it went from. I mean, we never really had a whole lot of. Like the PlayStation was because like we would get the system, but we couldn't really afford the games, so it was a lot of renting.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you on that.
So overall, like we had Driver, and Kingdom Hearts, and like MLB Slugfest 2004. That was about it.
Is it an achievement for someone to have played all of the Final Fantasies?
I would think so. I mean, because those are like my wife got me Final Fantasy 15 for my birthday last year. And I remember being pretty pumped. I haven't played a Final Fantasy since 8.
Okay.
I watched my brother play through 9 and 10 and 10-2 and all that stuff. But I got maybe 3-4 hours into it, and just, I haven't played it since. Just couldn't get into it. I wanted it to be.
Roommate Ryan was playing that one for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just I don't know. It didn't really grip me, and also like Overwatch was out, and that was like at the peak of like, hey, let's hop on Overwatch. So it was tough, but those are my nostalgia things. Do you have any more?
I don't think so.
Okay,
No.
it's good because we're at an hour.
Hey.
We did it. We made it. I would love if anyone's listening to this to hear your nostalgia things. So
I
leave
promise at least one of us won't make fun of you.
At least one of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to post and share what your nostalgia items
Blind
are.
allegiance.
Yes, your blind allegiance items that like you'll stand by even though no one else will.
This is a judgment-free zone
Well, I mean,
for the most part.
I might judge a little bit.
We just aired our not our grievances, but like our confessions.
If you want to confirm for a lot of people how bad Hudson Hawk was, I'll disagree with you, but
I respect it.
I'll respect your choice to say so.
But yeah, leave us a comment, drop it in the Facebook or even on the website omvpodcast.com. You can leave comments there too. They do have to be approved. I have the approval thing turned on
Okay.
because we get spam too, like just bots.
Do we?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, so I just get rid of those. But yeah, let us know if you have any nostalgic things, any blind allegiances to something that you dug as a child that maybe not everyone really dug nowadays or even then. Let us know. But that's gonna do it for this week. I hope you all enjoyed and I missed the spookiness, but it's time to move on. We just got our shipment of 4 Christmas tree scented candles today from Yankee Candle.
4 of them.
4 of them. 4 jars because it's a limited.
Are they different types of Christmas trees?
No,
or
it's all the same
they're
candle.
all the same.
It's all the same because
Okay.
it's a limit. It's my favorite scent. I burn it throughout the holidays, and it smells delicious. It's not delicious. It smells amazing, but they discontinue it every now and then, so you can't get it sometimes.
Like in the summer.
Well, no, like you'll go to Yankee
like every couple of years. Or?
Yeah, so like you'll go and it's like you can get Christmas wreath this year, and it's not quite the Christmas tree is the best one, so you gotta find fillers. So to avoid that, my wife noticed that they were bringing back like for a limited time Christmas trees back, so she found a coupon and bought 4 of them. So it's just those just showed up today. So, yeah, moving on from the spooky. Although my pumpkins are still out, they are rotted.
Oh, mine's gone.
Oh, yeah.
It's disintegrated.
Yep. But that's gonna do it for.
I might have a little bit more spooky in the future.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not adverse to spook. Like, Jesus.
Well,
I know.
We don't want to say it's finished or it's done, but
we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll see.
maybe spooky related.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But we'll see. We'll just have to see.
I hope you had a good spooky, everyone.
Yeah, I hope the spooky was well and safe and full of candy, and scaring and fright and ghosts and. Anyways, that's gonna do it. Till next time, I've been JR.
I'm Alex,
and this has been episode 294. I think. Yeah, 294. Opinions may vary. We're all done.